Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today's violin lesson will be on part 4 of the Mendelssohn Violin Concerto First Movement. We're starting in measure, what is that, 168, and we'll run down through 230, looks like approximately 233. Lot to unpack in this. This is very many difficulties in this section. So we've just finished this interlude of a very slow section. Now at this point we're going to come back to the original tempo 92. Now it's interesting, this is very nostalgic, is how I feel this music right at this point, because we're not in the same key as the opening. We're not in the same key, but it's the same motif. So the question is, what kind of fingering should we play for this feeling of nostalgia? We could play sounds okay, but the brightness of the E string doesn't really move me that way. What about we could do that, we could shift to third position and stay in third position, but again, it's not quite the same. It's pretty good. What happens if we take a chance and go That's, I think, the best fingering. So we get that extra slide coming down the A string. So I suggest that you shift to third and then you shift to fifth, and then you come back to third. A little extra busyness, but for that special feeling. And of course, we have some crescendo, which is a nice thing also. And then now this passage, these two passages that are coming up, measure 173 and a couple of bars later, tricky. The original fingering stays on the A string. I just don't, I want to make that clean. So I use a fourth finger on the E, stay on the E string for the whole triplet. That works. And then now this one, took me a while. When I practiced, I tried what was in the music and I was never happy. What I find is works really well is you start it first and then get the first finger on C sharp second position, and then right up to fifth position. Beautiful, beautiful fingering, clean. 3 notes on the A string, then over to E string. And you can make that shift so quickly from second to fifth position. So try that one. I really, really recommend that. Then when you get to the top, 4/4, and then now we're starting to get into the fun stuff. So we got these triplets. In my music, it mentions alla corda. That means on the string. Yeah, you got to drive the instrument. You got to drive the speed to get back, hold in that 92. It's pretty fast. Shift to third position. Extend and right into fourth position at that point. You play all these notes at 177, 178 in fourth position. Started first, third, fourth. Okay, now here's a nice one where you do an extension to the F natural and immediately back 4/4. Remember, you got to move that C sharp second finger back to C natural. That's a little. Works pretty easily because the second finger starts to raise here, and then you're back to third position. So that's a nice fingering. And then don't forget the accents because the crescendo is taken to the D. You have an option there in bar 180. I've gotten used to going down to the F sharp for a second finger, but I just realized this very instant, hey, I don't really need to. You can just go to a first finger. I don't know, maybe it depends on how the string speaks. Today I'm playing my 2010 violin with Ava strings on them. It seems to work better with the second finger F sharp. Remember, if you do a first finger, it's only a half step. Yeah, I think it works either way. You can decide for yourself. All right, now 181, the famous passage. Nail that second finger, get in fifth position. So you're going to do an extension for the G. It's not very far because here you play 2/4. The B is here, and only a half step higher is the G. So that's not too tough. And then you got to come back with the 4. So assuming that's okay for you. Now this one, I usually think harmonic so I can get off it and get down to the B flat because that's tricky. Also keep in mind 181 louder, 185 softer. The same passage, but we're trying to make a contrast of dynamics. So, and oh yes, and of course the accent on the high note. It's a really, really nice effect. You know, of course, how do you practice? You practice slow. So the fingering coming down to third. Oh, use the open string to come down to first. So let's try again. It's pretty good, and you come back to third position, and you do the whole thing again softer. I would say keep the accents. The accents really help stabilize all the technique, and it's really a great effect. I've heard the great players, not like me, but the great players play this just so impeccably. It's just really wonderful and exciting. So I want to mention at 184 and 188 when we come up, I definitely hit the fourth finger A instead. They have open in the music. Fourth finger A. It'll make it cleaner and get you on the D string. Much, much better. Okay, so then we get to 189. This has always been a little hard for me because I'm coming to get that 4/4. You gotta roll your hand somehow to cover the A and the E string with your fourth finger coming up, and then get it off, because then you can quickly play the third finger. It's tricky. Okay, so I'm very lucky on this violin. I've got a really nice setup. It's not too high. Everything is just perfectly balanced on the instrument. Makes it very much easier, and these Ava strings are pretty solid also. So I'm playing the bridge, take it off, and it's nice. You got a C natural and F natural coming down, so that's not too difficult. Starting in 190, we got some. Actually, the fingerings in the left hand are not that difficult, but the bowings are hard to make sound. All these, when I just recorded this for you, I had a little bit of issue getting these to speak. That first one. The other ones aren't so hard. The very first one is the hardest. And using those accents. Now the next one, this is 194. My mental set here is almost the first three notes. It's almost like a chord. I want to get that. And then, see, I didn't stay in third position here. I noticed in the music they have going to fifth position. Way too difficult. This. To make that sound, I couldn't do it. But if I come right across one note on each string, I can do that. Then I make a clean shift to fifth position. I think when you try this a few times yourself, you're going to find that really works. And then 4/4. They have marked in the music some fingered octave type fingerings. I don't think they're necessary. I just keep everything square. Of course, try it. If the fingered octave fingering works for you, what have they got? Oh my gosh, so complicated. I want to keep it simple at this point. I mean, I'm really hot and heavy into this. You could do 1/3. Lots of the great players I know, they do a lot of work 1/3 on their octaves, where I'm more comfortable 1/4. Whatever works for you. There's no really right and wrong here. That works. It's exciting. The music is so, it's amazing. I played it so long. It's still so exciting. All right. The next triplet passage. This is another tricky, famous one. We want to start piano. The hardest part about this section here is the dynamics, because we tend to grind on the G string, and that's why I'm using this violin. I've been using obbligato strings on my other violin, and the strings just don't work on the G string. So this violin works fine. So what we're doing is, the key is if we can get toward the point after, then I can use more bow, and then it won't crush the string as much. Now notice I'm using a fancy fingering. Start in second position, fourth position, shift up a half step, and then open up to fourth position. The second, so that's bar 198. I'm in second position, shift to fourth, up a half step, crescendo, and then now in bar in 200, I'm back to third position, shift to fourth, shift a half step. So the two bars, 198 and 200, are similar, starting on the second beat, doing the same fingering. I have to, in 200, I have to start in third, whereas I'm in second position at 198. Here's second position, but now in 200, and that's pretty easy to just do a 2/2. Now, we don't have to do the open, but I like doing The open makes it pure, absolutely perfect rhythm going into the next passage. See if I had to do that, there'd be some sort of break trying to get from the G string to the D string. Using the open string at the end makes it perfectly. So that works really nicely. So now we're in first position. And I just stay in first position with a little move up to 3. Now, these octaves right here, I suggest accent the upper note. I was just working with a student today in the Wolfart etudes. I don't remember what number, was it 58 or 57, 58, somewhere in there, with exactly this kind of a bowing where we have to give an accent on the up note. It's marked with a staccato, but really think accent. Okay, so, and of course you want to practice these as octaves. Also, at 206, we've got octaves. Just think octaves, practice the octaves, play all this as chords. All right, we're up to the high D. Now, so far, so good. I hope you're still with me. All right, so we're at bar 211. They suggest starting up bow. I like to do up. That's the way I like to do it. They suggest it's possible if that moves you musically. Just for me, I like it as it comes, so I don't have to do the extra recovery. I also like starting. That's bar 216. Start up bow. But again, see, you can't preserve the half note. If I start here, now I'm going to have to do a recovery. I'm going to have to shorten this C. And if I do up bow, see, all the notes have their full value. So that's a trade-off. Same thing, in the previous one. Versus, if Mendelssohn wanted a quarter note with a quarter rest, he would have written it. But he wrote a half note, so I'm trying to preserve that half note. So we're playing, and then over to the D, over to the D string. Now this is not marked in the music, but it's traditional in 22 and 225. We take a little retard just to make more suspense, more energy. And the next section is probably marked from Mendelssohn, agitato. Agitato could be called faster, accelerando, but we don't want to accelerando too much because then it can get kind of crazy. So basically stay close to the 92 tempo. If it goes a little bit ahead in the excitement of the performance, that's fine. But you don't want it to get too crazy, right? That's why we do this retard. We're setting up the agitato by holding back, and then we release. And of course, now in this last thing, the big thing is the crescendo. I love taking extra bows, just little extra bows in there. I think they've suggested that in the music, yes. In 231. Same thing here. It's 1, 2, 3, and then the orchestra takes over. which is a really, really nice, wonderful the way the violin leads right into the orchestra. It's very, very exciting time. So I hope that this is helpful to you. I'll stop at this point, and we'll have the next section. This was section 4. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments. And as I say, I hope just getting some, fingerings, understanding of fingerings and bowings and phrasings are helpful for you to enjoy playing this great music. All right, so take care. Thanks for listening. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Take care. We'll see you on part 5.